Hello. Welcome to my bookshelf tour. So today I have a special dress and my collection of books. So my bookshelf is organized by genre, and within the genre I wanted to stack it by or organize it by language, but it wasn't possible. So I organized it by genre, and then it's just random because it's not a lot of books. I think in total I might have 91 books, but I'll show you the ones that is under on the third shelf that you cannot see right now and the other books that are under my TV. Let's start. So here first I have, as you can see, this shelf and this shelf. I have classics. So I have Wordsworth classics, some Penguins, and some other random edition of classics. Down here I have my fiction shelf, and then here I have my Christian shelf, and here I have my non-fiction shelf. So let's start. The first book that I have is Mayombe by Pepe Tela. It's an Angolan classic. The second book that I have is Luanda by José Luandino Vieira, also an Angolan classic. I have, I'm not even gonna try to say the name, but it's just a really long name. I think it's Nambangongo by João Bernardo da Miranda. I still haven't read it, so I don't know what it's about, but I think it's a romance. Next one is the one that I DNF'd, but I will finish. It's Burgess' Daughter by Nadine Gordimer. It's a South African classic. I think this author got the Nobel Literature Prize. Next one that I'm really excited that I'm going to be reading in 2025 is Alone in Berlin by Hans Fallada. Already marked up, and I'm really excited to read this one. Next one that I have on my shelf is The Great Indian Novel by Shashi Tharoor. One of my favorite classics in my top 5. This is 1984 by George Orwell. I intend on collecting every single edition of 1984 that I can find. I also love Animal Farm, but I don't have the physical copy. Next one that I'm currently reading, as you can see, is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and I really love this translation. Next one that I've already read but didn't annotate, and I also really love in my top 10 is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Here, I just have this China. It's not really a bookmark. It's more of like a, I think it's supposed to be like note cards or whatever that you take for like different places that you've gone in Zhejiang, China. So I actually use them as bookmarks, but since it's a lot of them, I keep it in a box and in my shelf because it just reminds me of China, because this was one of the first things I bought when I got to China. Next shelf that is still classics, we have this beautiful Wordsworth edition of Brothers Karamazov, or The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Cannot wait to read this. Next one that I have is The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Again, the Wordsworth. Next one, The House of the Dead and the Gambler by Fyodor Dostoevsky again. The next one is a book that I read this year, and I probably posted already about this, but this is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. As you can see, highly annotated. Love reading this. The next one that I plan on reading on March of the Mammoths is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I already marked up how many pages I want to read a day. The next one that I reread this year is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. As you can see, I annotated quite a bit. One I'm really excited to read is The Essential Kafka by Franz Kafka. Basically has The Trial, The Castle, Metamorphosis, Letters to My Father, and other short stories by Franz Kafka. I just marked out to separate the book. I just have this little booklet that I got, and then this dummy figure thing. It's just to hold up the books. Coming down over here, this one that is over here is just basically two little book. This has like books in the Bible that we can use to preach the gospel. And then this one are like questions and answers that might come up when you're preaching the gospel. The first book that I have here is not mine, it's my sister's that I will be giving away. It's Kinanga, O Filho Maldito, or the Bad Son, I don't know how to translate it, or the Cursed Son by Kananga. The next book, it shouldn't be here, but I didn't have any more space, and this one is God's Power at Work in You by Dr. Neil Anderson. And I also was reading and kind of DNF'd, but I will finish it. The next one that I have, it's actually a classic, but I don't know why it's here. It's supposed to be in the classic section. And this one is Time Will Darken It by William Maxwell. And I'm only showing you the back because the front is destroyed. The next one is also an ugly book but beautiful story. Is Book Hill Bound by, I think it's Arthur Herbert. No, Frank Robertson. Book Hill Bound. Really love this one. Next one is a book I have to read that I got from my sister. She loves this one, and this is The State We're In by Adele Parks. Another one that I got from my sister, and this is The One You Want, The One You Really Want. It's a romance novel by Jill Marcel, sorry. Next one that I loved reading this year is Beasts and Monsters by Anthony Horowitz. This is number 42 of the Hardy Boys series, the Viking Symbol Mystery. A book that I'm really excited to read, and this is The Night Manager by Lassahe. I really want to read this one because there's a TV show with Hugh Laurie, the guy that plays Dr. House in House MD. This one is A Man Cannot Cry by Gloria Cavern, and this is also a South African fiction book. I'm really excited to read. Next one is a book in Spanish. It is La Serpiente de Oro by Ciro Alegría. Next one that I have is The Expedition by Per Olof Sundman. This one is a battered copy of Bugs in the Night by Arthur Herbert. I'm really starting to like the cowboy action romance novels. They're really good, very entertaining when you want something quick. This one is one of the first books that I got when I started collecting books, and this is the Mission by Dean Brelis. Such a good book. The story is so good for a short book, like so good. Highly recommend. This is another book that did not fit in the Christian section, and it's just here. And this is It Possible to Find God by David Watson, or in Portuguese, É Possível Encontrar a Deus. Now we're coming to my Christian section. The Tattoo Rats by Jerry B. Jenkins and John Perrodin. This is the same authors that wrote the Left Behind series. So I'm kind of excited to read this one, so to see if I'll be excited to actually start collecting the Left Behind series, by the way. And this one is The Portrait, The Person of Christ as Found in Psalms 141 by Ethel M. Gray. My sister started reading it, but she didn't like it, and she gave her copy to a friend of ours. But I do still want to keep it and read it, and it's so pretty. Next one that I've read and I really love, one of my favorite biographies. This is the biography of Sir John Wayne, I think Lang, written by Roy Cord. Really love this. I plan on reading this when I'm about to get married and when I have kids, because there's a lot of life lessons to implement if you're a Christian, and how to educate, how to teach finance, business to your kids. Really good book. Highly recommend. The next book that I have, and I loved reading it, this one is by Augusto Corey. This is Intelligent Woman, Healthy Relationships, or Mulheres Inteligentes, Relações Inteligentes, Saudáveis. So I really love this book, a lot of life lessons. The next one that I have is Untouchable Sins by Jerry Bridges, or in Portuguese, Pecados Intocáveis. This is just the Portuguese translated version. This one I haven't read yet, and this is Don't Waste Your Life by John Piper. A book that I need to get in English that I really love, and this is 31 Segredos de Mulheres Inesquecíveis by Mike Murdock, or 31 Secrets by an Unforgettable Woman. This is basically like a series where he takes like 31 lessons we can learn from biblical women, and this is based on the book of Ruth. I love this book. I'm almost about to finish, and this is the complete book of the Bible knowledge by Mark D. Taylor. You see, it was $9.79. The next one that I have is The Church, Discipleship Manual for the Body of Christ by R.P. Amos. This one, a book probably everyone has heard of. It's probably like a Christian classic. And this is The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan, that people call the second Bible. Then I have this one is The Power of a Praying Teen by Stormy Martian, I don't know. I plan on reading this and then giving it to my nephews and nieces when they're teenagers. A book I have to read in 2025 is Jesus the King by Timothy Keller. I really want to read this book. I heard it's so good, especially the one of his of marriage. So I started reading, but I stopped because I noticed it wasn't the right time. But this is The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. Really good book. Only read one chapter, but was already amazing. One of the books that I didn't really love, but it's a good one of those forgotten books, because I plan on reviewing forgotten books or like do a series on YouTube. And this is Missionary Heroines in Eastern Lands, just basically about Christian women that preach the gospel in Eastern lands. The next one is Women and the Liberator. It's just basically stories of the women of the Bible that were liberated by Jesus Christ. The author is William B. Parker. The Chinese Connection by Paye Lo. It's basically the story of Brother Andrew, a man that was preaching the gospel in China. So good. And smuggling Bibles. A book that I want to read but I can't, and this is Hansi, the Captive of the Swastika. It's basically a woman that would like torture Jewish women during in the Auschwitz concentration camps during the Second World War. And the reason why I cannot read it is because there are pages missing and they were ripped off, sadly. So I'm keeping this just until I find the complete copy, and I'll be able to read it. This one is The Jungle Pilot, the Russell T. Fitz. I think everybody knows this story about the 5 missionary martyrs that were preaching the gospel in the Ecuador jungle. The movie, you can watch the movie for free on YouTube, I'm pretty sure.